Hello, everybody. Welcome to Man Productions and welcome to Memorial Hall here at the York Fairgrounds. And this is the start of my intro to the documentary of the East Coast Large Scale Train Show here on location. And this video is dedicated to the past East Coast Large Scale Train shows that were held here at the York Fairgrounds. And I'm hoping that you enjoyed the documentary that you're about to see. Welcome to the East Coast Large Scale Train Show video, and I was in the G scale from the year 2000 until 2015. It wasn't until about 2008, which you are seeing in these pictures here, they're from 2008, that I saw a advertisement for the East Coast Large Scale Train Show, so I decided to go, not knowing what to expect, but I only took a handful of pictures. I wish I had done more in 2008. But this is pretty much it. But I get a little bit more involved. So in 2009, I was a lot more prepared. So these photos are from the 2009 East Coast Large Scale Train Show spring version. And as you see, they had a model contest going on. Here we have a picture of batteries. And that's I believe, Aristocraft Mikado. But there was a lot of things to see G scale wise at this show. So the East Coast Large Scale Train Show, for short, was ECLSTS, and it was a G scale show only, and it was the only one that I knew of on the East Coast at the time, and that's an Aristocrat Freightliner that you see there. Aristocrat trolley. That was a demonstration model. So I was able to shoot photos of during the show because I had plenty of time. I knew I was staying there all day, and I really wanted to enjoy it. And I stayed there both days. It was a Friday and Saturday show. There was Crest Revolution. But unfortunately, some of these manufacturers went out of business. A few were still around, and there's some custom runs here. But there were some interesting things at the show. So if you were in the Garden Trains or G Scale, this was the show to go to. There was a West Coast version as well, called the Big Show, held on the Queen Mary. So there was actually at one time a East Coast large scale show and a West Coast large scale train show. And for many, many years, the East Coast large scale train show was held at the York Fairgrounds and the Memorial Hall building. And you have vendors that you could actually visit that were all G scale only related, such as these photos here you're seeing from the USA Trains booth. And Charles Rowe had a huge booth at these shows. I always look forward to going to the Charles Rowe booth, and they had everything from you needed to get your G scale layout going. Everything from plants to buildings to track to the trains themselves, locomotives. It was a wonderful show. There was also clubs involved in the show, which you'll see here later on. St. Alban, unfortunately, is another one that is no longer with us. Pat was such a great guy. I dealt with St. Albans, and I remember talking to Pat multiple times on the phone, and Pat Sullivan, and he was just a great guy to deal with. I really liked Pat a lot, and most of my stuff at the time came from St. Albans until Pat passed away, and they decided to close up the stores. And after that, I had started dealing with Reindeer Pass when Mike and Renee had owned it. So here you go, small plants for your big trains, so you could actually pick up plants. They did really well with the plants at these shows. They sold a lot of plants. So if you were looking for specific plants, they had it. You got your signs and other things that you could buy for your garden railroad or just hang up in the garage. RLD Hobbies. Robbie was always a great guy to talk to. His I always talked to Robbie's dad because Robbie's dad was a diesel mechanic, and I always loved talking to him about the big rigs and the trucks and stuff. Another one, Bridgeworks. I remember Dave and his wife. Unfortunately, I can't remember Dave's wife's name, but Dave and his wife passed away, and the son had taken over Bridgeworks, and I can't remember the son's name for the life of me. Sorry. Colorado Structures. There's another one that's pretty much disappeared. They had some great building kits that you could put together. Uh, I believe these are from the model contest as well. People had entered some cool model in these contests, and I always enjoyed taking pictures of these. Yeah, check out that Conrail gondola. That was cool. But yeah, it was just an exciting show, and I look forward to it every year. There's Train Lee. If you like to, here we go. We get into your clubs. The New Hampshire Garden Railway Society. I believe they had the largest layout display, at the show. Pretty much hands down. They were the biggest. And I think the second one would be the Southeastern Pennsylvania Garden Railway Society. But yeah, the New Hampshires, they knew how to run trains, and the club members really enjoyed my videos. I really missed that club. One of these days, I need to get up to Massachusetts at the Northeast large scale train show and just to visit them once again. I really missed going to these shows and just talking to the club members and the people, and it's just again, I didn't realize that this is going to be a documentary, but I guess everything doesn't last forever. And but here you can see some of the customs that were made by the members. Very, very talented people here. And Scott Saluski, I believe, is the owner of most of the stuff that you're seeing in these photos. I'm amazed that I remember his name because my memory is unfortunately shot anymore. But I guess that happens as you get older. But Saluski Transportation is what his custom run trains are, and he'd always bring a whole bunch of stuff to the show on the layout. And there was members that brought their quite some stuff as well. But the clubs always offered something unique. There wasn't the same thing that you would see from one club to the next. They all had their own individual likes and styles and custom runs, and it was always exciting to see what they brought. Here we have the Delaware Large Scalers, another great group. Now, again, at this point, I'm still not into videography. I'm still doing pretty much photography here. So that's why you're seeing most of this on in photos. This was way before I started doing my train show tour videos back in this time period. Again, 2009. I had no interest in doing videos yet. Rather than documenting the show through photos, and I would post these pictures online. I forget what website or service I was using at the time. I think it was Photo Bucket or one of them things where you could get a free account and post some pictures. And yeah, the Delaware art scholars were always really inventive, as you can see here. uh, they would come up with some funny scenes. Uh, but at any rate, it's all an entertainment for people. Um, the G Scale community was just a good community to to hang out and great people. Here we have the train runners presents the PVC railroad, and the PVC railroad is just that. It was a modular layout that was built from all PVC piping, and so we jump around here to some other things. Again, we're still in the spring of 2009. These are all the vendors that were selling things. I remember some. I think there was a vendor called Michael's Custom Woodworking. Some of my memories are starting to come back after looking at these photos because I haven't been to a G scale show in a long time. Uh, well, at least at the York show, anyway. The East Coast Art Scale Train Show did go from York to Timonium. The show's stopper shut down happened, so they canceled it, but then still tried to have the show. And then they moved it to Annapolis, Maryland, is where they've been holding it. But I wanted to document the when it was held at the York Fairgrounds. And here you see the Susquehanna Valley Garden Railway Society set up here. That club again, they always did a nice job. So when you walked into the doors, this was the first thing you've seen walking through the door was the Susquehanna Valley Garden Railway Society, and I always look forward to looking at their layout because they made their layout at the show like it was a real garden railway. It had dirt and live plants and sometimes real water features, and they did a really good job in making it look like it was a garden railway indoors. And the members put in a lot of hard work to make this happen. So everything you're seeing here on that layout was all live plants. Now here we have the Washington, Virginia, Maryland Garden Railway Society. Another good group of people. They always ran on the floor. They didn't have a modular layout, so they would always just put down a green mat and then run on the floor. And then we move on to another club here. I'm trying to remember. That looks like it's the Warrior Runs right there. I think that's the Warrior Run club there. Not sure. It's been too long. Yeah, that's definitely the Warrior Run right there. And the Warrior Run had a I'm sure they still have it. Was a narrow gauge G scale layout. It was 120.3 narrow gauge trains. So there you go. You can see one of the rails is actually dual rail. And so they tried to run, as accurate as possible from narrow gauge to standard. Some more pictures here. And I'm going through this as as you guys are. I'm just taking it in because it's been a long time since I've seen these photos, and I'm just glad that I don't even know who this layout this is. I'm sure Nico could tell me because he's got a better memory than I did. And Nico had went to this train show for as long as I have that I remember. Nico, when he was with the Pocono Mountain Garden Railway Society, and his mind's a lot sharper than mine is right now. We have a circus scene, and in case you don't know who Nico is, he's the co-host for the Large Scale Live on the Mr. Pictavid YouTube channel. So shout out to Mr. Pictavid. If you like G scale trains, check out the Large Scale Live. They do live shows featuring Andrew and Nico, and they do a good job. They bring in guests from the G scale communities and talk about upcoming shows, and they do how tos and clinics, and it's a great show. So check them out. Shout out to them. And the cars that you could use in G scale, you could just buy 124 diecast cars. Back then they were cheap enough. Don't know how much they are now. And again, I just cannot remember what club this is, but I'm sure Nico could. Wish he was here helping me with this documentary. But I learned a lot along the way. So now I know to get the picture of the name of the club or the vendor before I do the pictures or the video part of it. And here we have some USA Train stuff for sale. Very cool stuff. My favorite brand of G-scale locomotives back then was USA Trains. It looks like some of these pictures got mixed up, but at any rate, here we have the Central Connecticut G-scalers. Oh, that's who that club was. It was the Central Connecticut G-scalers that had that that weird coal hump yard. And here we have some custom-made wooden trains. Yeah, so it looks like somehow or another, over the years, these pictures got out of order. I thought I had them all numbered, but you know how that goes. When you take so many pictures and so many years go by, that's a lot of time. Got a Dairy Queen. I think I had that Dairy Queen on my own G-scale layout. And the Washington, Virginia, Maryland. Like I said, these photos are definitely out of order. Now we're back to the Warrior Run again. Warrior Run. That's an interesting coal shovel. Some nice. I always admired the Rio Grande narrow gauge stuff on our layout, on a Warrior Run layout. It's always cool to see. And eventually, as the years went on, here you have a N-gauge depicting the G-scale layout or a ride-on layout. Here you have, I believe this is the Southeastern Pennsylvania Garden Railway Society. Again, I wasn't very organized back then like I am now. It was just, I learned a lot over time to be better organized and take better photos, and it was a huge learning process for me. So yeah, you'll see that I wasn't that great back then, but it's all a learning thing. So now we're at 2009 in the fall. They decided to try a fall show. It didn't. It only lasted a couple years before they just decided, to keep it in the spring, and that's it. And here we have the Susquehanna Valley Garden Railway Society. Again, that's the first layout that you see coming through the doors. And I think I'm getting a little bit more organized at this point in time of keeping things in a better order as far as photos. And again, this club just made it look like they brought a whole garden railroad into the building. So if you wanted to see and get ideas, this was the place to stop off at. And the plants were not fake. These plants are all real that you're seeing. They're not fake plants. MTH Gauge 1 and MTH actually came back out with Gauge 1 again. They stopped making it for a while and concentrated on standard tin plate, but now that that contract had ended, they got back into doing Gauge 1 again. Gauge 1 is 132 scale, for those who are wondering, where USA Trains and Aristocraft are 129 scale. That's the weird part about G gauge is the different ratios that could be considered G scale. You have 120.3, which is a narrow gauge G scale, and then you have 124 scale, which is considered G scale, and then you have 129 and 132. It's really weird how many different scales are considered G. And this is Shawmut Car Shops. I believe his name is Jeffrey Shawmut. And he would paint these custom runs and then sell them. And he would come up with some quite neat ideas. And here we are back with St. Albans again. I can't tell you how much I missed that place when I was in a G scale. And he was a big dealer. I think he was the biggest G scale dealer at the time before he passed away. And he was up there. That was for sure. And again, I'm just capturing different things during the 2009 fall show. I actually had that Southern Pacific at one time. E8s. And then you had the Aristocraft Evans cars. And here we are with Charles Rowe, the USA Trains dealer. He was supposed to come out with this 2-bay ACF hopper and announced it then, and it never happened. But those are the 60-foot box cars we're looking at. They're samples. They were neat cars. And USA Trains always did some different things as well. Here you have the big boy. There's the announcement for the 60-foot box car with the cushion couplers. And the couplers were actually really cushioned. It was neat how they really put that feature into the cars. There you see, I believe those were S2s. And a rotary snowplow that actually has the rotary that actually moves. Katie, BNSF. So here you can see all the different locomotives that they came out with at this point in time. There's a PAAB or PABBA in Santa Fe. There wasn't enough orders, so that was kind of like canceled too. That set never really came out either. And then there's a GP30s. USA Trains Power 10. Now this is Aristocraft. That's their Aristocraft trolley. So again, I didn't take pictures of... Always take pictures of the signs. So I'm trying to remember as we're going through these photos. So this is going to be the Aristocraft booth. And unfortunately, Aristocraft ended up going out of business. I believe it was right around 2011. I could be wrong. Those Winchester and Western hopper cars were the show car for the 2009 fall show. I do remember that. Those are pretty hard to find now. And then they show you the 2010 car. So yeah, there was show cars. There was the photo contest. All kinds of cool stuff. And I'm pretty. There you go. Now we're at Bachman. So this is the Bachman trains, and then you got RY models. I believe those were 132 scales. Well, here you go. Here's the model contest I mentioned. So you get to see a lot of creative ideas, and each sign will tell you uh, about the piece, whimsical. And then we're back to the train runners, the PVC railroad. And again, you would never think that this whole entire modular layout is all made out of PVC piping. It's not wood. I mean, there's wood on top, but the main support is all PVC piping. I always enjoyed his NASCAR train that he would run on the layout at the PVC train runners. Now, I'm not going to put all the photos I have from every year of the train show. I'm just trying to include, you know, pictures of, the different things you would have seen at the East Coast Large Scale Train Show. And, you know, there was different themes. There would have been Easter and Halloween for the fall and Easter in the spring, as you see here. Um, People were pretty creative with their G scale trains. And I'll probably move on to, here shortly to some videos, and I'll explain a little bit about that later. I always enjoyed the different scenes that everybody had their own thing, their own take, and you never saw the same thing, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Here we are back to the Delaware large scalers, and Keith he was a fire chief, so you'll see fire trucks on there, and unfortunately, he passed away, and I ended up doing a memorial video for him, with the Delaware large scalers layouts in there. Here you have a scene here, but Keith was always happy to see me because when I started doing videos, I was the only one documenting and videoing the layouts at the time. And so when I did my first video at the Delaware Large Scalers, Keith had noticed that nobody else was doing it, because when he went to research it, my video was the only one that came up with their layout. So he did notice that. And they have some cool custom cars that they made too. Very nice. It came up with some very nice trains. I don't remember whose this piece was. R&D Model Railroad Company. I don't remember them for some reason. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on this one. But obviously they were there because I got pictures of it. Which is why I'm doing this documentary now before I forget too much more about this show. Southeastern Pennsylvania Garden Railway Society. They had a pretty large layout too at the show. And one of my favorite scenes that they had was right here, this mall scene. I loved that mall scene right there. They only had that scene on the layout for 2 years, maybe tops, 2 or 3 years. And then sort of like disappeared. But I just absolutely loved it. That picture cracks me up. Love the General Lee making a jump here. Again, I'm just refreshing my memory. I'm looking at this. almost as if it's the first time I'm seeing these videos or these photos, because it's been a long time since I looked through these photos myself. So many years ago, it's just hard to believe, um, when you go to the train shows and then suddenly you're looking back on things. Yeah, the Southeastern Pennsylvania Railroad Garden Railway Society. Um, I'm pretty sure they were the second largest layout there. I'm sure Nika will correct me if I'm wrong. They still have a lot of these things on their layout today. The Southeastern Pennsylvania Garden Railway Society does go to the Greenberg shows once in a while as well. Here we had the Eichenbach live steamers. They would actually run live steam locomotives inside. Generally, they would run on butane or alcohol. Um, Sometimes I've seen them run them outside, but there are coal fired ones too. Welsh, they run on Welsh coal. But yeah, the alcohol and the butane ones were run indoors. So this is all live steam what you're looking at. And I believe most of that was 132 as well. And here we have some accessories and stuff. So you could buy some cool accessories to go with it. There's Pico. All right, so now I'm going to move on to videos that are no longer on my channel. And you'll see why here. So the video quality is not very good. So I did not get interested into shooting videos until 2010. I shot videos with a Kodak camera that was only like maybe 2 or 3 megapixels. Then in 2011, I decided to go ahead and buy I don't know if it was 320. It definitely wasn't a high definition camcorder because I wasn't sure if I was going to like shooting videos, but enough of me blabbering. Here you go. I'm going to go ahead and show this video footage, although it's not great quality, only because it does document what you would expect at this particular show.
You better get me a winner this year.
So I believe this was a 2011 show, just by judging at the scenery that's set up, and also by the quality. It's letting me know that this has got to be 2011, and that's when I bought the 320 camcorder. But check out this lumber scene. The um, Susquehanna Valley Garden Railway Society did a real good job in setting up this lumber scene. I can't imagine how many hours they must have spent doing that. So again, I'll let you experience the background noise rather than listen to me.
Thank you. Hello. Gotta go when you want that. They didn't have a pocket. You want to go? Oh, yeah. Let's go walk around. Just play the other room. How you doing? In that.
Now, once again, these videos that you're seeing in this documentary are no longer up on my YouTube channel. As I got better with my videos and shooting them, I took a lot of these down because I felt as though the quality didn't match the branding that I was trying to present. So I had several people in the G Scale community tell me, can you please put these videos included in a documentary since they're no longer up? Because even though you don't think they're that good, they're still representing of what the show is about. And I said, okay, no problem. So here you guys go. Now, unfortunately, for this part of it in front of the mall, I cannot play the show background because they are playing copyrighted music at this mall scene. So instead, I'll get copyright flagged if I allow that to happen. So I cannot play the audio file part of this video, but you guys can see the mall scene. This was my favorite scene. And what they did is they had, they showed a car show, which you'll see at the mall scene. And so at car shows, if you ever been to a car show, they always play oldies music. And so I actually had plans to copy that scene. I really, because I was, just getting out of the show car hobby in 2000, and then, got into G scale trains. So I was really familiar with that and been to enough car shows to you know, I, again, fall in love with that scene. But I never did get around to creating anything like that. And I was talking to the guy who made that scene. He took a picture of the actual mall and he took it somewheres and had it scaled down and put it on a piece of backing. And so here you guys go. I forget which mall it was, but that is a picture of a real mall that he took and had it scaled down. And so there's your car show scene that I cannot. I unfortunately, sorry guys, I cannot allow the audio to play because I will get copyright flagged for it. And that was before YouTube had all them problems. Back then, there was uh, no copyrights to worry about back then. At that point in time, it wasn't until later when the record companies started suing everybody, and including YouTube and Napster and all of them, and so that's when things changed.
Are you serious, Mom? Yes, absolutely. Let's just turn it off
So here we are, again, the 2010-2011 era. And this is the PVC train runners layout. And I recognize that because there's a member there who just loved the Western Maryland. So let's watch that run. Good. How about you? There was a member I got to know really well. I call him John Ford. His real name is John, but the reason why I call him John Ford, because I really don't know his last name, is because he would always wear a Ford hat, and his username was Ford56 or Ford58, something like that, on one of the forums. So I've always known him as John Ford, but that's not his real last name. John was a great guy. He had some cool custom run Baltimore and Ohio trains that he made. Um, but this was, you know, I think there was only like 4 or 5 members even at this time of the PVC train runners. Check out this scene here. The Connecticut G-Scalers in miniature on the Connecticut G-Scale layout. So I thought that was a pretty cool touch on this layout here. And you guys, like I said, the viewers, the only way you're going to see this video is in this documentary, because none of this I left on the channel. I wish I did a better job back then, but you guys are now seeing the pretty much the raw footage, and I'm pretty sure this is from 2010 now that I'm thinking about it. And that's another reason why I'm doing these documentaries, because, after a while your memory fades. I mean, that 2010 is a long time ago, at least for me.
Attention in the hall. Attention in the hall.
There it is. Goes all the way up that ramp and it dumps the coal out.
Have a good day.
Okay, so we are moving on to the Washington, Maryland, Virginia Garden Railway Society. I'm sure I will pan into the, I got it backwards. Washington, Virginia, and Maryland. I always get that wrong. But anyway, they're a club that actually sets up on the floor, as you can see here. I always enjoyed stopping in and shooting the trains running through their tunnels and stuff. And they would always have some kind of winter feature too. And again, I'm pretty sure this is right around the same time period, 2010. So let's enjoy a little bit of them. Now we move on to the Delaware Large Scale Club. And I'm trying to include videos that have been deleted off my channel. So that's why this documentary has ended up being longer than I planned. But I thought it was important to go ahead and include these videos because I thought I lost them. They were when I pulled them off, I saved them, but then my hard drive or a computer crashed, and then I was able to later recover the files and was so happy. And I remember telling Andrew Fitch of the Large Scale Live, and he said, you know, you should probably include those into your documentary. So that's what I'm doing here. Look at these road railers. That's something hard to come by in G scale now.
Yeah, it does look like a fast train, huh?
I got interrupted with a door. So, I'll be right back.
Oh, we're flying a helicopter?
What summer was it last year?
I don't remember. Blue? It was funny, I went in the back.
So here we are back with the Susquehanna Valley Garden Railway Society again. And I'm thinking this must be 2011 because the scenery has changed. It's not the lumber yard here. But I'm sure Turk would be able to tell you more than I could as to exact year. And there he is photobombing me. Turk, get out of my video. No, Turk's a good guy. He's been the club president for quite some time. Uh, you know, he organizes this the members and help put all this together, and he had contacts with the landscape and people to put live plants in, and so yeah, they created a great experience for those who wanted to learn what a garden railway felt like, looked like, and he brought that here. And Turk is video bombing me again. Turk, don't you know I'm filming? I like busting his things. But at any rate, here you guys go. Here we have Craig Weaver. He normally brings his circus train, but he came up with this United States Army train, and for 1 year, he might have brought it out once or twice, and it was a cool setup. I always enjoyed his circus train, but the military train was a pretty neat setup too. And again, I think he only displayed this setup maybe twice, and that was it. The rest of the time was all the circus trains. And here we are back with the Southeastern Pennsylvania Garden Railway Society. Like I said, that mall scene only happened maybe for 2 or 3 shows, and that was pretty much the end of it. But here we have a couple E8s running. I believe they're E8s. So I found some pretty interesting history behind myself. I had forgotten that I started off my channel as EMD Train Man in 2008, and then it ran until 2009. Here you can see a very crude picture I drew up on some horrid paint program back then. You can certainly tell I didn't know what I was doing. But I ended EMD Train Man in 2009 and started all over again in 2010, more professionally as Dakman Productions. So I found the answer to my own question digging through old documents from an old file that was from an old archive. But yeah, the videos that I have been showing are pre 2010. They're actually 2009 videos. And that was during my EMD Trainman video days. And then when I deleted EMD Trainman from YouTube forever and wanted to forget about it, I did save the videos, but I never re-uploaded them under the DAC because I was trying to start a more professional YouTube channel. So even back then, in the EMD Trainman YouTube video days, that EMD Trainman was actually a division of DACman Films and another crude picture that I made up on a horror program. I can't help but to laugh at myself now at this. I guess I was going to become a Hollywood producing company back then, but yeah. Uh, After 2009, 2010, I got a more professional outlook on things. I would like to thank Dan Alvaro of Rolling Stock Trains for believing in me and believing in Dakman Productions, and even back before that when it was started off as EMD Trainman. He saw the importance of what I was doing even before I did, and he wholeheartedly supported me in every way, including bringing me aboard as a rolling stock train helper to get behind the scenes of the show, to document the show and videos and show the trains for sale. He was my inspiration, and he was the one who pushed me and supported me in doing these train show tour videos back then. And he is the main reason why I really got interested in doing this, and now today, I wholeheartedly see the importance of them too. But he saw it before I did back then, and so he provided me, with a lot of support and passes to get into the East Coast Roller Scale Train Show. Unfortunately, Danny passed away, and I miss him a lot. Danny, I'm gonna miss you. Yeah, I'm missing you now. So it was great working with him, being with him, getting the support from him. Danny was a great guy. Thank you, Danny, for all that you done for me and pushing me to become the professional Dackman Productions YouTube channel I am today. Thank you so much.